What's up, guys? This is Jakob. I'm content AI manager and helping entrepreneurs around the world with their content strategy using AI technology to create with ease content for your business. Welcome to a new episode of the Web3 live show where we speak about with people, with entrepreneurs all around the world who are already within the Web3 space. I'm very excited to speak today with Loubna Zarrou, who is an international bestselling author, a certified professional speaker. She's a coach who's globally recognized for her extraordinary skill mentoring entrepreneurs to gain clarity, focus, and momentum with lightning speed. She's also the founder of the Flow Club, and that's the reason why we're speaking, why she's invited basically on this show, because she's using coin economics. So she has her own coin and built her membership site, and that's the reason why she's here. So Loubna, welcome to my show. How are you doing?
I'm doing absolutely amazing, Jakob. Thank you for having me on your show.
Yes, that's really cool that you have the time. Really appreciate that one. And can you, before we jump into the topic of Web3, can you introduce yourself? So who's Loubna and why are you doing the things that you're doing?
Awesome. Well, you shared a little bit about some of the things that I've done in the past and what I do today, which is most of it is speaking, whether it's virtual like this or in real life at events, talking about personal leadership, happiness at work, and flow. Because I believe that when we focus on our personal growth, our business growth or career goals will be achieved way faster and way easier than anything else. I think that there's too much emphasis on business tactics and business strategies, and they have their value, don't get me wrong. But if we don't believe in ourselves, if we have any doubts, any fears whatsoever, then we could know all of the best tactics in the world and strategies, but we won't implement them in the right way, or we won't implement them at all. So that is what I love. And a little bit about, because the context of your show is Web3, I've been learning about Web3 for more than a year. I like to tap into and research things that are new. I have a background in IT. I used to be an IT consultant. I used to be an IT auditor, and I love learning new things. So when creator economy, Web3, tokenomics were all words that I thought I have no idea what they mean more than a year ago. I'm like,
welcome to the club.
I gotta know more. I have to know more about what this means, what they actually mean, where we are at when it comes to Web3, and where the future might be going.
Yeah, awesome. Oh, that's really cool. So one thing that I got really when you made your intro, so we all have these fears and these self-doubts. So how do you deal with them? So I mean, don't don't get me wrong, but we all have them. It doesn't matter in which level you have. We all have these kind of thoughts, and it doesn't matter. You can be on the top of the pyramid in your industry or whatever. You will more than other people. But how are you dealing with them? What would be your best lesson or advice?
Yeah, no, well, they do say every level introduces new devils, so you'll have them every as you go through life. I mean, we're human beings. We grow, we evolve, we learn, we fumble, we make mistakes. That's part of us being a human being. So I know that some of the things that, and it literally happened a couple of hours ago at a presentation. I presented for a board of a company here, an IT-based company here in the Netherlands where I live. And I walked away from that, and my colleague that was with me said, "God, you're really good at this." I said, "Yes, because I'm a professional speaker." I introduced myself as a professional speaker, and I say professional speaker because I did the work, I'm doing the work, and I will continue to do the work to master the skills that come with speaking. Yeah. That doesn't mean that just before I open up my mouth to start the presentation, that there's a little voice in my head that says, "Why did you say yes to this? Why did you put yourself in this situation where people could judge you?" And I think that what I can rely on is I know that exists. I've done the work to become self-aware. I know myself. I know my skills. I know what I'm good at. I know that I've done this hundreds of times before. So even though the doubts and the insecurities and the little bit of anxiety pops up, I can use that energy as fuel to do what I have to do in that moment. So for me personally, I believe that and that's the tip, spend time in getting to know you, your unique you, your skills, your character, your communication style, so that you can, when you know yourself and you can start looking at other people, you can start recognizing what their talents are, what their communication styles are, and start playing flexible with your behavior, so you get the most out of every interaction that you have, whether it's an interaction with yourself or with other people.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that one. So being self-aware is a key. And I mean, one part is execution, so doing things often so that you gain experience. And maybe at the beginning, my live show was not that good, so I was not that good in front of the camera and staying in front of the camera. Many people are, they are scared to do this, but you become better when you do it often. But other than execution, what habits do you have to be more self-aware? Is something like journaling, or I mean, a gratitude book or something? What do you have habits that you follow through?
Yeah. No, one of the, I mean, you're talking about having done the work on my personal development for the past 2 decades. So more than 20 years. And it first started for me. So if you're watching this and thinking, God, I'm at the beginning of my journey, which I can totally relate to. For me, that moment was more than 20 years ago. And it was because I was working in a job at that time. And I had a manager who said, you're the expert. I'm not, I'm just the manager. Just go out there and do your work. Just discover what people are searching for, what their problems are, what their challenges, and how you can help them. So it is what you said. It is repetition. It's going out there and doing the work, and then starting noticing of what are some of the activities that I really like. What do I enjoy doing? What are those moments where you go, yes, me please. I want to do that. I like that. And where are the moments where you're thinking, I hope they don't choose me. I hope they choose someone else. I don't want to do this. And you start recognizing some of, and if you do it long enough, you'll start recognizing what are the patterns? What are the moments where I always raise my hand and say, I want to do that? Where are the moments where you're thinking, let them choose someone else? That's the best way that I can recommend you discover who you are in doing the things that you need to do. Now, if you want to speed things up a little bit and you're thinking, yeah, but I want to know now. I don't want to know in 3 months' time from now by doing the things. I can totally imagine that is your question right now. I would say take 30 minutes. Each and every single one of us has time. Take 30 minutes, grab a journal or grab a piece of paper, draw a timeline from today back to when you were born. So however old you are, for me, it would be a line that is 43. 43 represents 43, and go back every 5 years. So think about, okay, 5 years ago, what are some of the highlights? What are some of the moments that I still remember? And when you think back to those moments, what does it tell me about me? What does it tell me about my character? What does it tell me about my communication style? This is the best way that you can discover more about yourself. Now, I know it's scary because you're diving deeper into you. And that could bring up thoughts of, don't do that, don't do that. You might discover something about yourself that you didn't want to know. But the more you lean into who you truly are, the more effective you are, the more valuable you are in the marketplace, however you do the work that you do, whether it's a corporate professional or an entrepreneur. So that's the second. The third tip that I will give you is use assessments. They can give you language, words to use to describe your behavior. Don't use them as with a fixed mindset to say, I am this. No, this is how you behave right now. And it might be that if you focus on something else, there's a little bit of a shift happening in order or intensity of your behavior. Mm-hmm. So that's another way that you can do it. I mean, I've done so many different assessments, from MBTI, Enneagram, the Big 5 personality test. This week I got certified in DISC, which is another communication style and behavior style assessment. So there are assessments out there that you can do, but please, please, please use them to learn the language of describing your behavior, not as a fixed, this is who I am and I can't be anyone else.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing. Very valuable. I think, yeah, I like it. Really. That's cool. So yeah, I get a sense how you perform on stage. I mean, you're already crushing. You're already crushing it in front of the camera. I don't. You will eat up the audience if you're standing on stage. I guess so. That's awesome. Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, maybe I really like. So maybe one follow up, because one of the things that you wrote me is you need to work and live from the inside out. So that's basically what you explained now, that you be more self-aware of yourself, of your needs, of your of your skills, in order to go out and perform, right? On and not the other way around, that you look, what are people, what do my audience does my audience need, and how can I bring it? So you're turning it around, right? That's what you mean?
That's one aspect. So becoming self-aware just lets you know, who am I? What is my character? What are my strengths? What do I enjoy doing? What are the ways that I best provide value in this world?
Yeah. Awesome.
The second part, what I focus on, the next level of that, is living and working from the inside out. And what I mean by that is that we've all been taught from a young age that your parents tell you you should be doing this or you should be doing that. Your teachers in school used to tell you, don't be too loud, or don't fumble a lot, or you should choose these topics to study instead of something else. That's a lot of outside in working and living. So a lot of people telling you who you should be, what you should be doing, and how you should be doing it, which puts you in a situation where they determine how you show up and how you express yourself. So self-awareness for me is you knowing yourself better and having the language and the words to use to describe yourself. And if you want to go next level, you can create your own user manual and say, okay, if you want to deal with me, this is how you best can do that. But then the next step is self-expression. How do you show up in the world? How do you show up each and every single day when you're talking to family, when you're talking to friends, when you're talking to a prospect? And in the expression, be you, lean into who you are, and less about, if you were to tell me, Loubna, you're great, but could you stop doing this? I would tell you no.
I would never say this.
No, but as an example, and there's a lot of this. I've been told you are too loud, you are too much, you are too matter of factor, you are this and that, which in and of itself, I know that they mean well because they want to give you feedback.
Yeah.
But true feedback is their reaction. Because you did this, this is how it impacted me. Or because you said this, I didn't feel safe to express myself, because that's way more interesting than you need to do something else because I don't like it. Okay, so inside out instead of outside in is expressing yourself by your own terms, by your own standards, by your own expectations, instead of living up to other people's expectations.
But so just to follow up to that one, because I have two sons, okay, and one is 4 and the other one is 1. So we didn't spoke about that one, about family, but just as an advice for a father. So how to communicate, because sometimes I have to say things like, don't do this, or don't do that, or you should do that. So what would be your advice to change the communication? Or I mean, it's not like I want to raise good human beings in a sense. And what would be your advice when it comes to children, to communicate?
Ever had depending on their age, young children do this. You've got a pot of tea, hot tea, on the table, and the child has no idea that is really hot.
Yes, exactly.
But they are intrigued by that pot. So what does a child do? They go because they want to touch it. Okay. Most parents say, don't do that. You don't do that, which the kid startles, but you still haven't met their need of, but I'm curious on what that is. I don't know what that is. So what I do with my nieces is, that is a teapot, that is hot. If you choose to touch it, you might burn your fingers.
And what happens after you said this?
One of two things. Either because now they know the connection between hot is painful, so I'm not going to do that. So they step away because now they know why.
Okay.
I'm telling them, I'm not telling them not do it. I'm telling them, if you choose to do that, this is the consequence.
Okay, you're giving some kind of briefing. So you're briefing them what will happen if they do this or that.
So one of two things can happen.
Yeah,
one of two things. They step away because they know the connection between pain and touching, or they touch it. And then they start crying. And I go, I told you that it's hot, which is painful. But now they learned a lesson. Now it's their decision. They made the decision instead of I made the decision for them. And that's a skill that I want children to learn, is every decision that you make has consequences. Whatever you choose, something is going to happen. And sometimes that consequence is not positive at all. So if you surround yourself with people, you want to have people to explain to you, if you do this, this might happen. Not don't do it, which is like a big red on a ball that goes, I'm going.
Okay, got it. Okay, we'll definitely try this one. Thanks for that one. Appreciate it.
It works for adults too. Most adults will have a tendency to avoid responsibility. Instead of saying, instead of someone coming up to you and say, what do you think I should do? I can't tell you what you should do. I can tell you what I would do in your shoes, but that it's not helpful, because you're the one that has to make the decision, especially in a coaching settings. A lot of people go, just tell me what I need to do, because they're used to living from the outside in, other people telling them what they need to do, instead of trusting their gut, trusting their intuition, trusting themselves. But it's way more of, this is a decision that you have to make. It can have these positive outcomes or it can have these negative outcomes, but you're the one that's going to experience those consequences. So it should be your decision.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah, that's cool. Like it. I appreciate it. Thanks. I will try it and let you know. Okay. Okay, cool. So maybe we are shifting a little bit the topic and going more into Web3 space. So you have this club, the Flow Club. Maybe just explain what is first of all the Flow Club.
Well, more than a year ago, when I started hearing things like Web3, blockchain has been around way longer than Web3 has been around. Is one of the things that I know about myself is one of my strengths is a love of learning. I love learning things that I don't know about. So for me, when I heard things that I didn't know, I activated that learning. And I started learning about what does it mean, because what I learned was it's the next evolution of the internet. But it's designed and intended to solve a couple of the challenges that we have around the internet as we know it today, which is that just a couple of organizations dictate how we can express ourselves online. And they also dictate how many people can see that. And you can choose to play that game or not. Whilst we're sharing our data, it's actually our data, but someone else is determining who gets to see it and if someone gets to see it, which is weird if you think about it. That's mine. And if I choose to show it to you, I should be able to do that. But no, there's an algorithm that determines whether you get to see it or not. And I think that that's a good thing. Our data is ours. I own that data. And Web3 brings back that ownership to the person that does the input, that has the assets in the form of data. and makes that transparent across. So for me, that made a lot of sense from a principle perspective. I think this is actually good if we're going to move into this direction, because responsibility is given back to people who actually should have it to begin with. So for me, when I got the opportunity a couple of months ago to think about what if, and what if is my way, that's my uniqueness, is to open up my mind. My brain is conditioned to, whatever I say what if, to think broad instead of narrow. What if I was going to build in Web3? What would that look like? And I'm someone who believes in community. I believe that we have to do this together, that we should surround ourselves with people on a similar journey, with similar interest, with similar ambition, with similar drive, with similar goals, and help each other achieve those goals from our uniqueness. So Flow Club for me is a community of like-minded and like-spirited people who want to experience flow, who want to experience that state of, I'm working from the inside out, and I'm doing that in my own unique way so that I get the most done without spending too much time, too much effort. Because flow state is that state, is a state where you can drill down, focus, get so much done in the amount of time that you put into that you're actually surprised you got that much done. And I want to surround myself with people who want to experience this as much as they can, so that they can have the impact in the world that they want to have. Because that's what I do. I want to impact millions of people. And if I want to do that in the remainder of my lifetime, I have to do that the most efficient and most effective way, but also the most enjoyable way, because that's important to me.
Yeah, makes sense. Absolutely. Cool. And yeah, so you're speaking so engaged that sometimes I'm just you're ending the sentence and I'm just I have nothing to add. Normally I have follow-up questions, but in this case,
I've done this a couple of times.
yeah, that's yeah, good. So but was there something, so when it comes, okay, you made your research, was there some inspiration? Because okay, Web3, but from being curious about Web3, you also have your own coin, right? You're giving out your own coin. So being curious about Web3 to launching your own coin is, I think, it's another level, because you're going much deeper and you're more serious about this whole topic. So were there some points, some defining moments where you realized, okay, I have to that's a no-brainer, I have to launch my own coin or something? Was there some defining moment?
Well, for me, I'll start. Yeah, no, there were multiple. For me, learning starts with knowledge. So the learning process is, for me, is gaining knowledge, is going out on the internet and Googling and reading articles, listening to other people speak about this topic, from what are all of the different perspectives when it comes to Web3, because it's so early adopter Web3 that no one is actually an expert. We're all trying to figure this out, what it means. If we can, and someone can visualize this way more clearly than someone else, what it would mean if we would really give responsibility back and ownership to data that I own and determine who gets to see it, and etc. So it's also early, so you have to, and so for me in that phase, it's important to get as many perspectives as I can, knowing that there's no one really who knows exactly what it is right now, because it's still being created, it's being co-created. So it starts the learning process for me with knowledge, but that doesn't equal learning. Just information does absolutely nothing. Information turns into learning when you apply it.
Yes.
So for me, if I were to understand Web3 and what it could mean, and answer the question, what if I build something in Web3, what would that look like? I have to experiment. I have to try things.
Yeah.
So for me to really learn, because I have a love of learning, I want to learn, and learning is more than knowledge, I have to try things. So that meant for me is engaging in other people's tokens and communities. That meant in participating and investing in other tokens and communities.
Mm-hmm.
And as that journey went on, I started to understand more of the differences. Okay, how does that person use their token? How's that person? Oh, interesting. What does that give me when I use it? And then different ways, different learning, because I was playing in the arena instead of when I was gaining knowledge. I was on the bleachers sitting watching other people. And I want to get in the arena. That's what I wanted. And from there, it's adding a new level. So when the opportunity came from a community that I've been part of for more than 1 year and said, I'm offering every creator who wants to launch their own token and build something in this Web3 space, I thought, that's my next level. I've been playing in the arena now with other people's. The next level to that is me offering it and seeing what happens. And that's what I am doing now, is saying, okay, now I'm the person that's offering something. How do I attract people to that? How do I share about this? How do I educate other people about beyond the technology side?
Yeah, awesome. So I like this metaphor about not only watching but being in the arena, because that's all about execution. Not we are, I mean, I'm also in the content space, but we are so many people are just so driven by just consuming content, but it's all about the execution part. So what
that's
you
the
do
actual learning. You learn by doing, you learn by implementing the knowledge that you have, so that you can switch from I mean, in the bleachers is a great position, don't get me wrong. But in the bleachers is someone who knows the theory, but cannot share with me experience. But what does it feel like to be in the arena? What does it feel like to start understanding how this works? What does it feel like to experience different ways that people are using these tokens? That person cannot tell me about that. They can tell me, well, I know that person does it that way. Yeah, but what does it feel to use it in that way? The person on the bleachers cannot answer me those questions.
Yeah.
They can't, because they don't have their personal experience. It's the professor who is teaching entrepreneurship but has never been an entrepreneur. That's the bleacher. For me, that's not learning. I want to learn to use it so that I can co-create with other people and see if we, especially because it's early adopter, is how we can help shift, help create this Web3 space, help make this into something that when the rest of the world, and it's more than about 1 million people that are playing in this space, turns into 5 million or 10 million or a billion, that they are landing in a place where there's some standards, some patterns. Right now, there's no standards, no patterns. It's all dynamic.
It's the Wild West. It's the Wild West of internet currently.
And you have to like that. And you have to like that. There's only a certain type of people that enjoy playing in that space. I love it because it's challenging.
No rules.
Like, there isn't a solution for this, or there isn't a solution. I love that. I know myself that I thrive in that environment. If you are risk averse, that is something that would drive you nuts. So stay away if that's you.
I mean, entrepreneurs are the last, people who love this feeling. I that's my opinion. So they risk something, their time, resources, their own money, in doing things that are. They are the modern alchemists to some degree. So that's what I mean. I'm a big fan of Paulo Coelho, who wrote The Alchemist, and entrepreneurs are alchemists because they create out of something, out of nothing, basically, out of only an idea, they create something. So it's some revenue creating machine. Yeah, that's just awesome. Cool. So, Loubna, can you give a little bit more detail? Because I launched also my own coin, and I know that one big headache that not headache but big thing that I thought about. So what I'm going to give for my coin. So when people getting the coin, I launched the AI coin. So what I'm going to give them when they want to purchase it or something.
Yeah.
Was this hard for you, or was it a process? And what can people get with the? Is it the Flow coin, by the way? So
Yeah,
is it?
yeah,
Is this,
yeah.
okay? What can people get from the Flow coin?
Yeah, I think it's when you're thinking about this, it's the same pattern as when you're thinking about, okay, I've started a business, I'm an entrepreneur. Well, what's the product and service that I'm going to offer? What am I going to
Okay.
sell? It's the same in Web3. It isn't really that different. I know that some people may make it different because they're adding the technology to it. But that's not the point. That's not where it starts. The technology is powering what you do, but it's not the focus point. So I like to make things simple. Even when the rest of the world is trying to make things complex, I go to, but okay, I need to be able to explain it to a 4-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
And when we do is in this world, we are the Web3 world is an environment, an ecosystem where those that create content that provide, whether it's in the form of education, whether it's in the form of inspiration, whether it's in the form of entertainment, can monetize that in a way that they can provide from themselves. Right now, it's about, if you want to monetize using online, using the internet as your playground, then right now you have to play the game of the platforms. They determine if you can monetize and how much exactly you can monetize, even though you're the one that is providing the content to monetize, but you're not working away with the value that you're adding. And in Web3, that is shifting.
Yeah, just a quick follow. You meaning especially when it comes to advertisement, right? So based on the views that I have and the click rates, for example, on YouTube, then YouTube's algorithm is basically saying how much I can earn through advertisement that is running on my. Okay,
for example,
that's what
yeah,
you mean
for
as a
example,
business. Okay.
yeah, for example. So for the creators, the entrepreneurs that are building in the Web3 space, it's thinking about, what's the problem am I solving? What problem am I solving? It's the exact same thing, whether we call it Web3 or not. What problem am I solving? What does my ideal client need to solve that problem? So most cases, I mean, in the case of Flow Club, is they need to become aware that there is something called flow and that you can activate flow. It's not just something that happens if you're lucky. No, it's something that you can learn to activate when you need it, and that you can be in flow more of the time. So there's a little bit of building awareness of the possibility and opportunity. For me, it's about educating, because then people are like, okay, I get it, but what's next? But how do I learn this? How do I learn to activate my own flow state? Okay, I will teach you. So there's educational content in a variety of forms. Could be a membership site where there are short videos, worksheets, workbooks that help you to learn how to do this for yourself. It could be you step into a coaching program and you say, I want to be able to be coached. I want to be led. I want a human being that I can listen to or watch, just like people are doing now. So for me, it's way more about informing, educating, and then building an ecosystem. That's the community part, where you get to connect with people on a similar journey. Because you might not have someone around you right now that is even interested in flow or in AI or in Web3 or in journey or in music or in fill in the blanks, whatever that is. It's very rarely that you find people around you locally that are interested in your ambition, your goals. So what you need is to surround yourself. And thankfully, the internet has provided that, because we can connect with people from all over the world, so that you can tap into a community that you know is filled with people that are interested in the topic, flow in my case, are learning to do that more, and can share with some of the challenges, some of the things that worked for them, so that you can accelerate your own journey. So it's about thinking not about the technology or the tokenomics. because that's not the most relevant part. It's not the part where people will say, yes, I want to have a flow lifestyle. They're going to say yes when they understand the impact that learning these skills and gaining this knowledge will have on their life and business.
Yeah, the transformation part.
Yes,
basically.
Yeah.
Are you owner of PLF? Just by the way, Product Launch Formula from Jeff Walker.
Yeah, I'm aware. Yes, I know Jeff Walker and PLF.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because you're using the terms that are within PLF, so that's I just thought it sounds like PLF by Jeff Walker, but anyway, it just shows that you did your homework. That's everything is fine. I was just curious.
Yeah, no, and I get it, but that's, for me, that's the point. If you start with the tokenomics, you're going to confuse people on technology, and the success of innovation. And this is something that I have known and experienced in more than 20 years, is not in the technology. It really isn't. It's on attracting people and guiding them on a transformational journey. And part of that journey is absolutely teaching them the technology side so that they can use the tools that are provided, but it's not the most important part.
Yeah. Yes, that's on my to-do list. Thanks for that. Yeah, because I don't know why, but you're so fast. You myself. I mean myself. So focus on the futures, the technology part, the things the tools that we're using. I mean, I created content AI tools, which is I mean, we are looking on AI tools that help you save time for content creation. I mean, but because I realized when I speak with CEOs and CMOs, they are under such time pressure. They always say, I don't have the time to create content, even if I know it's important. And I always say, well, then you need these tools. But yeah, it's like the tools are still important, but it's all about the transformation. So it will free them up basically for their own day because they are using these tools, and that's what I should focus on. That's more self.
And what you want. I mean, I had a conversation with the business that wants to grow this morning, just before the interview, and in that conversation we tend to forget that you could be focused, narrow on your business and creating the tools to help businesses, but if the rest of the world doesn't know who you are, what your identity is as an organization, and how you express that identity to the world through content, then you can have the most beautiful product that could save their hassle, their frustration, their time. But they don't know that you exist, or they don't understand what you're actually doing. And the fact remains that right now, people make buying decisions based on what they see of you online, your social proof, what other people are saying about you. So as a business, you cannot afford to not have an online presence today. You cannot. So you have to do something. And it's not enough to say a one-pager that says, this is our organization, this is the address, this is how you can contact us. They want to know, who are you? What's your personality? What do you stand for?
What are your values?
What are your values? But how do you show me that those are your values? It's not enough to say, this is important to us. I have to show it. And you express that through content. So you have to, as a business, have an online presence where you're expressing yourself. If you're already really busy by doing the work, by serving your clients, then using tools to make your life easier and still reach the goal of having that online presence, then that's something that you should be looking into. So, and that's the story that will grab a CEO, that will grab a CMO, because they're thinking about it. I want not only today, because I've got my employees that are focused on today and serving clients today. I want to make sure that when people look at us, they understand what we are, what we stand for, and who and how we serve.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Already, I'm ready to be coached. That's awesome. Cool. I appreciate that one. So, but did you, just to make sure, so one part of the question was, what do I get when I have the Flow coin? So can I?
You get access to a community and educational resources to help you on your journey to learn the knowledge and skills to achieve a flow lifestyle.
Okay, got it. Okay, and do we have different levels also?
Yeah.
Diamond level and things like that. Okay, cool.
Yeah, there are different ways, because I believe that everyone should have access to the community if they want to, and that they can grow into higher levels. But for me, I want to make impact. So for me, you being part of the community and playing in the ecosystem will help you. You will learn things, pick up things. You get access to all other people that are sharing their experience. From there, if you want to really invest your time, energy, and resources to learn and do a deep dive because you're ready for that, then you can choose to do so. But it really helps, because instead of me saying, I'm opening up my coaching program and you have to say yes before a certain time, or you have to wait 6 months, now there's an ecosystem that says, whenever you are ready, we're here for you.
Yeah, like it. That's cool. Did you created your the Flow Club with Rally.ai
No.
or where did you? Okay.
No, we're on a Solana blockchain.
Solana.
So we're powered by Gary Coin.
Okay. Yeah, I heard that one also a couple of times. Okay, cool. And I mean, yes, we're in this transformation period where we are early adopters when it comes to Web3, but we still need Web2 to promote our Web3 project to some degree. So what would you advise or lessons that you learned so far to bring in the people? Because so I'm giving away my coins, so interview guests get my coins, and people who support me for long years already. But some say, well, Jakob, thanks for the offer, but that's not my thing, thank you. So some people don't want the coin, which is fine, I respect that. But so what I mean is, some people just don't trust this whole Web3 project. So how do you promote, or how do you bring people into your Discord channel or your world, to the Flow Club?
Yeah, I think that's important to, because we're in such an early adopter. If you focus on the coin or the token, for a lot of people that's just too much. There's just too much, and because we're also early adopter, there are too many bad players. So the news is filled with hacks, this, scam that, FUD here, etc. So there's a lot more negative news around Web3 space than there is positive examples. And we got to build. The early adopters are here to build those positive examples and to show that it can be done. But there are not a lot of us, and the dominant news feed is still negative. And negative news sticks around much longer and scares a whole lot more than the good examples and the positive examples. So I think that's important to recognize right now. And it's part of being an early adopter. If you've ever been at the starting phase of anything, of any transformation, then this is part of it. I mean, I was part of the transition from Web 1 to Web 2. That was why I started. I helped people make that transition. I helped them. I built my very first website based on HTML. I coded that myself. You can't imagine that right now, but that's how we moved from Web 1 to Web 2. And a lot of people are, with the introduction of social media, were going, yeah, that's not going to stay here a lot. And we're here now today. And there are platforms that have left, and there are platforms that are still here today. So it's going to happen. And some people just need more time. They need more processing time. They need more good examples before they are open to that. So for me, I'm going to go back to something that I shared before. We're trying to build a business, an income in a Web3 context. That's not different from Web2. It really isn't. So if we can increase the desire for the transformation that we're offering, for the problem that we're solving, then people get attracted to that. I want to get people who say, I want to have a more efficient, effective, and enjoyable business. I want to get the most out of the time and effort that I do have, whether that is an hour or 30 minutes or it's days. You want to get them. That's what I'm about. And the fact that you can play in this ecosystem by owning tokens is secondary. Because people will find a way when they understand why they're doing something, but they will find an excuse when they don't. So if we focus on, here are the tokens, that's not going to drive people to you. It's not, because they're like, what can I do with it? I mean, why would I want it? Why would I introduce something new that I still don't understand and that I have to pay attention to? And especially with all the scams and the hacking out there, why would I put myself through that? That's not what's going to get people into Web3. What is people that are focusing on, you know what, you can hire me as a coach and you can pay you euros. That's fine. Or you get yourself a wallet and get yourself a couple of tokens, and you're not paying me. You're holding those tokens in a wallet and having access to resources, educational resources that you want because you made a decision that you want to have a flow lifestyle. Instead of paying me euros, but you can pay me euros if you want, if that makes it easier. Because for me, I want to help you, coach you into flow more. I want to teach you how to do that. And you can pay me in euros, or you can step into something that you buy, but you hold in your wallet without giving it to me, but you get you get access to the resources in exchange. And as long as you need them, you hold them. If you don't, you swap them back to something else. And that's the focus point for me, of the vocal point. Yeah, it's about the transformation. It's about me helping people, not about tokens. It really isn't. That's technology. Yeah. That's how we do things, but it's not the only way.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I should change the name of my show to something different. Yeah, now I got it. I mean, yes, you're absolutely right. But still, I'm just super curious about how people are doing things. So, but I think, yeah, what I'm getting is get back to the fundamentals. So the fundamentals are still true in Web3. It's a people-to-people business. You have to solve problems and also communicate the problem and give a solution to their problem. So yeah, basic fundamental questions that you have to ask yourself and not be too much into the technology. Yes.
So. And because we're early adopters, we tend to focus on the technology because that's the new part.
Yes.
But it's not it's what we like. And it's great to surround yourself with people that like that same thing, that would dive into tokenomics. But it's not what is going to get people into your community. It's not what is going to drive your community. It's not what's going to open people up to network and connect with like-minded people who are in a similar journey. It's not.
Yes. Awesome. I mean, I could continue this for 1 more hour, but our time is limited. So if people want to come to the Flow Club or want to get more information about you, where should people go?
Well, you can find me on social media. You can find me on LinkedIn. Yeah. Find me on social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, or Twitter, and reach out to me. You can find a link to Flow Club on each of those. If not, just send me a message and I'll happily give you more information or provide you with a link if that is what you choose to do so.
Yes. Awesome, Loubna. So I learned a lot. So it was really eye-opening for me. Yeah, I will definitely, like I said, try the communication part with my sons, with my older son, basically. The younger one doesn't. I will try it with both. And also, I think what I get is focusing on your why is. I mean, it's basic. If I say, I mean, I'm saying it and I'm thinking, yes, of course. But in a daily business, you're just forget it sometimes, and it's good to be self-aware and be also self-aware about your business and why it is existing, basically.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was great. Great to speak with you. So if there are any questions, just let us know in the comment section so I can forward it to Loubna. And yeah, hopefully see you in another episode. And thanks for watching to everybody. See you next time.
Have an amazing day.
Bye.